As the sun lowers its gaze and the world softens into twilight, there is a subtle invitation whispered through the breeze, to slow down, reflect, and be at peace. For those walking the graceful path beyond 60, this evening time becomes more than just an end to the day, it becomes a sacred threshold, a gentle bridge between the activity of life and the stillness of being. In Buddhism, the end of the day is not just a moment to retire, it is a spiritual opportunity to deepen awareness, nurture self-compassion, and find joy in simplicity. The Buddha taught that we must live mindfully, aware of each breath, each thought, each action, especially as we grow older and begin turning inward. This video is your guide to embracing the beauty of life after 60 through a peaceful evening routine. Rooted in traditional Buddhist wisdom, we will explore how to create sacred rituals that soothe your spirit, release the pressures of productivity, discover mindfulness in ordinary habits, and reawaken your sense of creativity and connection. We will reflect on the quiet power of stillness and silence, and how these simple gifts can offer profound peace of mind. Whether you live alone or with family, whether your life is filled with activity or stillness, this journey will speak to your heart. You deserve an evening that brings not only rest, but also renewal, a time to gently return to yourself, free from worldly attachments. Join us as we explore how to age with grace, live with intention, and awaken the deep inner peace that Buddhism has pointed to for over 2,500 years. Let us begin with the first insight on our journey: how to create sacred evening rituals that soothe your spirit. In the teachings of the Buddha, daily life is not something separate from the path, it is the path. And nowhere is this more visible than in the quiet hours of evening, when the noise of the world softens and the mind is most ready to turn inward. Sacred evening rituals are not about religion or routine alone, they are about setting a spiritual rhythm to your life, particularly after 60, when days may grow quieter, yet the inner world becomes more vibrant. In the heart of Oregon, an elderly woman named Mary, now 74, found herself in deep emotional pain after losing her husband to illness and watching her grown children drift to lives of their own. She felt alone, forgotten. But during a retreat at a local Zen center, she was introduced to the idea of evening mindfulness. Inspired, she began each evening by lighting a single candle just after sunset, reciting softly, "This day is done, I release all grasping." She would steep chamomile tea and sit quietly beside a small altar she made from a photograph of a Bodhi tree, a few stones collected from hikes, and a simple statue of the Buddha. Each item reminded her of her journey through life, its losses, its loves, and its lessons. Her favorite part of the evening was metta meditation. With her hand resting over her heart, she whispered, "May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I live with ease." Over time, she included others in her prayers, her children, her late husband, and even neighbors she rarely spoke to. She transformed her pain into loving kindness. Mary said she no longer felt alone at night. Instead, she felt surrounded by unseen blessings. The Buddha taught that our thoughts shape our experience, with our thoughts, we make the world. A sacred ritual like Mary's, grounded in intention and loving presence, can bring us back to what truly matters. Perhaps your ritual starts with something as simple as changing into soft, comfortable clothes that symbolize shedding the day's burdens. Maybe you play soft chanting in the background or keep a gratitude journal by your bedside, writing down 3 things, just 3, that brought you peace that day. These actions are not trivial, they are offerings to your spirit. Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary when done mindfully. Buddhism reminds us that every act, folding a blanket, dimming a light, offering incense, is a potential doorway to awakening when performed with awareness. So consider this: when was the last time your evening felt sacred, rather than routine? Create a space that reflects peace, perhaps a corner of your room with a cushion, a candle, or a book of the Dhammapada. Let your surroundings support your inward journey. Avoid screens for the last hour of your day. Instead, read a verse, recite a chant, or simply sit with your breath. Let go of achievements and expectations. As the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This hour is yours. And you are not just preparing for sleep, you are preparing your heart for the quiet miracle of stillness. You are softening into non-attachment, remembering that nothing needs to be grasped, and that happiness arises not from doing more, but from being deeply present. Let this become your offering to yourself, a spiritual homecoming at the close of every day. Through sacred evening rituals, you give your spirit a gentle refuge where healing, peace of mind, and spiritual growth naturally arise, night after night. Let us now move to the second insight on this peaceful journey: gentle ways to manage your energy instead of forcing productivity. In a world that often praises busyness and measures worth through constant output, the Buddhist path reminds us that true peace does not come from doing more, but from being more present, more mindful, more attuned to the natural rhythms of the body and mind. Especially after the age of 60, when the body no longer operates with the urgency of youth, it becomes essential to listen with compassion to your own energy rather than trying to match external demands. The Buddha taught that clinging to craving leads to suffering. And that includes the craving to stay constantly productive, even when the body is weary and the spirit longs for stillness. Instead of pushing yourself to tick off lists or achieve goals that no longer bring joy, begin to observe your day like a garden. When does your energy bloom, and when does it fade? Rather than trying to force action during your low points, practice acceptance and work in harmony with your natural flow. Mornings might be your most alert time, perfect for a quiet walk, some mindful stretching, or preparing a nourishing meal. Let the afternoon be for gentle tasks, reading, or creative expression, and allow the evening to be for rest and reflection. Set boundaries with your time and attention. You do not need to answer every phone call or fulfill every request. In Buddhism, right effort means effort without strain, actions that arise from clarity, not compulsion. Let your day be shaped by ease, not pressure. Include mindful pauses between activities. A few conscious breaths after folding laundry, a cup of tea sipped slowly without distractions, or simply sitting in silence, noticing how the light changes in your home. These small pauses restore energy more deeply than you may realize. Also, learn to say no without guilt. The Buddha taught the middle path, not of indulgence or self-denial, but of wise balance. Choosing rest over productivity is not laziness, it is wisdom. In your older years, energy is precious and sacred. Spend it on what truly brings you peace: compassionate conversations, nourishing meals, spiritual reading, or moments of quiet joy. Let go of the belief that your value depends on constant doing. You are not a machine, you are a being of awareness, and your presence itself is enough. The evening, especially, is not a time for checking emails or solving problems. It is a time to return to yourself, to soften the edges of your day, to allow your breath to slow and your heart to open. Align your choices with your well-being. If a task leaves you tense or drained, pause. Reflect: is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this worth my sacred energy? Productivity that comes from force may achieve results, but it leaves the spirit weary. Gentle energy, guided by mindfulness, leaves you nourished and centered. As the Buddha said, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth. Don't chase more, cultivate enough. By letting go of the need to be constantly productive, you make space for deeper peace of mind, better emotional clarity, and true spiritual growth. Let this be your quiet revolution, not in doing more, but in doing less with more presence. In the stillness between tasks, in the wisdom of slowing down, you will discover what the world cannot give you: inner peace. Let us now explore the third insight along our mindful path: mindful moments hidden in your everyday habits. In Buddhist wisdom, it is often said that enlightenment is not found in distant temples or mountaintops, but in the very heart of ordinary life, in the brushing of teeth, the folding of clothes, the act of boiling water for tea. When we learn to approach our daily habits with presence instead of automation, even the simplest moments become sacred gateways to peace of mind, spiritual growth, and inner stillness. This truth is beautifully reflected in an old Zen story. A young monk once asked his master, "Master, what is the way to enlightenment?" The master replied, when hungry, eat. When tired, sleep. Confused, the monk said, but master, don't we all eat and sleep? The master looked at him kindly and said, no, when you eat, your mind wanders. When you sleep, you dream of many things. True practice is to eat while eating, to sleep while sleeping. This story reminds us that mindfulness isn't about doing different things, it's about doing the same things differently, with awareness, with non-attachment, and with gentle observation. Imagine beginning your day with the small habit of washing your face. Instead of rushing through it, pause. Feel the cool water on your skin. Hear the sound of the water flowing. Offer a quiet reflection like, may this day begin in peace. These subtle shifts require no extra time, only intention. When drinking your morning tea, do it without distraction, no television, no scrolling. Hold the cup gently, notice its warmth, its aroma, the way it feels as you sip. This moment becomes your meditation. Even in household chores, sweeping the floor, watering plants, or folding towels, there are hidden opportunities for awareness. The Buddha once said, if anything is worth doing, do it with all your heart. That includes the simplest acts. Instead of seeing these moments as tasks to rush through, view them as ways to return to the breath, to the body, to the now. This is where Buddhist wisdom teaches us the heart of non-attachment. When we stop clinging to outcomes and start honoring the process, we free ourselves. Even the act of walking from one room to another can become a mindful step. Feel your feet touch the ground, hear the gentle rhythm of movement. The more we train our minds to rest in these simple acts, the more natural mindfulness becomes. Aging with grace is not about avoiding the ordinary, it's about softening into it, allowing it to show us something deeper. As we grow older, the habits we formed in urgency can be softened with care and presence. Instead of trying to change everything, start by transforming the way you approach what you already do. When cooking a meal, stir slowly, notice the textures, the aromas, and the warmth rising from the pan. Offer gratitude silently, thank you for this food, this breath, this life. Buddhism teaches us that the present moment is our greatest teacher, and every habit becomes a lesson when held with attention. Even brushing your hair, buttoning your shirt, or sitting in a chair can become small rituals of connection, simple anchors to peace of mind. And when distractions arise, as they always will, do not scold yourself. Simply return, gently, to what you are doing. As the Buddha said, as a flower does not pick and choose the bees that come to it, the mind must not pick and choose its moments of mindfulness. All moments are worthy. All habits are potential temples. You do not need to escape your life to find spiritual clarity. It is already here, woven into your tea, your steps, your breath. Begin again in each small act. Let your life itself become your meditation. In these hidden mindful moments, you will find the quiet joy of living deeply, calmly, and wisely, just as the Buddha intended. Now we gently arrive at the fourth reflection on this path to peaceful aging, why creativity and connection still matter, maybe more than ever. As we grow older, society often whispers that it is time to slow down, withdraw, or fade into the background, but Buddhist wisdom reminds us that the later years of life are not an ending, but a deep unfolding, a sacred time to express what is most essential in the heart. Creativity and connection are not luxuries for the young, they are lifelines for all stages of life, and perhaps even more vital in our later years. In the teachings of the Buddha, compassion and expression are natural outcomes of a quiet and awakened mind. Creativity is not limited to painting or poetry, it may emerge in the way you cook a meal, the songs you hum while watering your plants, or the arrangement of photos on your wall that tell your life story. These small acts of expression bring meaning and vitality to the present moment. You do not need an audience, just the willingness to create with mindfulness. And as for connection, the Buddhist path teaches interdependence. No one walks the path alone. Even the most solitary practitioners knew the value of community, or sangha, to nourish and sustain the journey. At this stage in life, making time for heartfelt conversations, shared laughter, or even gentle silence with someone dear becomes a form of meditation. A phone call to a friend, a handwritten letter, or a simple moment of listening with full attention can heal more than words. Isolation is a common challenge in later years, but mindfulness invites us to reach out without clinging and to be present without judgment. You might join a local meditation group, take a small class in a quiet art form, or volunteer in a calm, supportive setting where kindness is more valuable than speed. Even online spaces can offer meaningful connection if used wisely and sparingly. The point is not how many people you connect with, but how deeply. When creativity flows and connection is nurtured, the heart opens. Old regrets begin to soften, and a new kind of joy takes root, not loud or flashy, but deeply peaceful. As the Buddha said, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Your warmth, your wisdom, your creativity can be shared endlessly, and in sharing, they grow stronger. Do not believe the myth that your contributions are behind you. Now, perhaps more than ever, the world needs your calm insight, your stories, your gentle guidance, your mindful presence. Creativity keeps the mind spacious and free, connection keeps the heart soft and strong. Together, they form a foundation for emotional clarity, spiritual growth, and aging with grace. In practicing creativity and connection, you stay aligned with the Eightfold Path: right intention, right effort, right mindfulness, all expressed not through grand gestures, but through sincerity, simplicity, and soul. So let your hands move, your voice speak, your heart open. Knit, write, sing, cook, draw, speak, listen, walk, smile, each of these is a sacred act when done in mindfulness. And remember, there is no need to be perfect. There is only the need to be real, to be kind, and to be present. By honoring your creativity and nourishing meaningful connection, you breathe life into your days, and you allow others to see the beauty of a life well lived. You offer the world not just memories, but living examples of peace of mind and inner light. Let this be your offering. Let this be your path. Finally, as we come to the fifth and last reflection in this peaceful journey, let us turn inward and embrace the quiet power of stillness, silence, and self-compassion. In a world that values noise, speed, and constant productivity, the gentle practice of doing nothing, simply being, can feel foreign at first, even uncomfortable. But in the Buddha's timeless teachings, stillness is not emptiness, it is depth. Silence is not absence, it is clarity. Self-compassion is not weakness, it is wisdom in action. These three, stillness, silence, and kindness toward oneself, form the hidden heart of the path to inner peace. There is a profound story from the life of the Buddha that reveals this truth. One day, after walking for hours under the sun, the Buddha and his disciples came upon a small stream. The water was murky from a cart that had just passed through it. A disciple, eager to serve, ran forward to fetch water for the Buddha, but returned saying, "The water is muddy, Master, we cannot drink it." The Buddha said nothing, only smiled. They rested in silence under a tree. After some time, the Buddha sent the disciple again. This time, the water had settled, the mud had sunk to the bottom, and it was clear, still, and perfectly drinkable. The Buddha simply said, "You see, if you let the water be, it will settle and become clear." The mind is the same. This gentle teaching carries enormous power. When we stop stirring our minds with restlessness, self-judgment, or regret, when we simply allow ourselves to rest, in silence, in non-doing, in patience, clarity arises on its own. In the later stages of life, when our bodies may move slower, and the world may feel more distant, it is the perfect time to return to the practice of stillness. You don't need a mountain cave or hours of formal meditation. Just 5 minutes sitting by a window, breathing, noticing the wind in the trees, or the quiet sound of your breath, can be a spiritual anchor. When silence is chosen, not forced by loneliness, it becomes a sanctuary, a place where we hear the soft voice of our own heart, and perhaps even the whisper of truth beyond words. In this silence, we also rediscover compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. The Buddha taught that, you, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. And yet, how rarely we offer ourselves that gentleness. We carry guilt from the past, harsh judgments of who we should have been, and anxiety about who we will become. But in the stillness, when we are not performing or proving, we begin to see our humanity with soft eyes. Self-compassion in Buddhism is not indulgence, it is the doorway to awakening. To say to yourself, I did my best, or, it's okay to rest now, or even simply, I am enough, is not selfish, it is sacred. Stillness teaches us to stop striving. Silence teaches us to listen. Compassion teaches us to accept. Together, these practices loosen the knots in the heart and create space for light to enter. As we grow older, we may feel tempted to fill our days to avoid facing ourselves. But in Buddhist wisdom, aging is not something to fear, it is a mirror showing us what truly matters. In the quiet, we begin to see that peace of mind is not something we chase, it's something we allow. In silence, we remember we are not broken. We are whole, as we are. And in self-compassion, we learn to hold our own suffering with the same tenderness we offer a dear friend. So begin small. Sit quietly for a few moments each day. Speak gently to yourself. Forgive your imperfections. Notice the world without trying to fix it. Let go of needing to be more, do more, or prove more. The Buddha walked this path of stillness not to escape the world, but to understand it. You can too. As the sun sets on each day, and indeed on this precious stage of life, let the fading light remind you, it is not noise, nor speed, nor accomplishment that defines your worth. It is presence. It is awareness. It is love. In stillness, silence, and self-compassion, you return home to yourself, and there, you find peace. As we gently come to the end of this journey together, it's time to pause, breathe, and reflect on all that we've uncovered in this quiet space. We have explored sacred evening rituals, learned to honor our energy rather than force it, discovered the hidden gems of mindfulness in everyday habits, remembered the deep importance of creativity and connection in our later years, and embraced the profound strength found in stillness, silence, and self-compassion. These aren't just ideas. They are gentle, living practices rooted deeply in Buddhist wisdom and perfectly suited for those seeking peace of mind, inner stillness, and spiritual growth, especially in the beautiful unfolding chapter of life after 60. The Buddha's path has always been one of presence, awareness, and release. It invites us to meet each moment as it is, to let go of striving, and to return to the simplicity of being. Aging with grace is not about avoiding change, it is about welcoming it with the open hands of mindfulness. Peace of mind is not something we earn through effort, but something we awaken to when we let go of the mental noise that clouds our vision. This video is not here to give you a rulebook for how to live, but rather to offer a gentle lantern on your path, illuminating the quiet treasures that are already within and around you. These teachings call you back to your breath, your body, your heart, and your sacred presence. So whether you are sitting by your window as the evening settles, or walking slowly through your garden, or simply resting your eyes with the rhythm of your breath, remember that you are not alone. These gentle truths are shared by many across the world who are also stepping softly into their wisdom years, seeking not more accomplishments but deeper understanding, not more possessions but richer simplicity. Let these words linger in your heart, not as instructions but as companions. May they remind you to return to yourself again and again, not with judgment, but with warmth. And now, as we draw the curtain on today's reflection, I invite you to take a moment for a simple act of connection, one that brings this virtual Sangha, this mindful community, to life. If this video touched your heart in any way, please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us about your own evening rituals, or how you find stillness and peace in your daily life. What spoke to you most deeply today? Your reflections might gently light someone else's path, just as the teachings of the Buddha have illuminated yours. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Mindful Pathway Media. Every week, we offer calm, respectful, and deeply insightful videos grounded in authentic Buddhist teachings, guidance for those seeking emotional clarity, spiritual growth, and peace of mind, especially during the later stages of life. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who may also be seeking softness in a loud world. Together, we create a peaceful space where all are welcome to walk the mindful path. May your days be full of awareness, your evenings full of peace, and your heart full of gentle wisdom. Until we meet again, breathe slowly, live kindly, and walk gently.